Actually, this course is on the Lean and Six Sigma. Put together, we call it the Lean Six Sigma. Similar to project management, it is a certified course. Even if you go for in any company, even nowadays, this lean manufacturing is booming in logistic company also, which we call as a lean logistic. Later, we'll talk about the lean logistic. If you are certified with the Lean Six Sigma, there are so many certifications are there, like yellow belt, and similarly, there is another belt called green belt also is there, which I will talk about now. Now, is the screen visible for you? Hello.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Now, actually, this is the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt certified course. Whatever this the Lean Six Sigma design is based on this certification course only. Whatever the syllabus is designed for you, it was completely designed based on the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. See, this costs around nearly 13,000. Then whatever the syllabus are there, I will cover this define phase, measure phase, then analyze, improve, control, which comes under Six Sigma. Then actually first unit will start about the lean. The first 2 units will talk about the lean. Then next 2 units will talk about the Six Sigma. Then finally we will see the synergy between the lean and Six Sigma. Lean and Six Sigma. This is the course. Even this is one of the good certification course. Like a project management, even a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt adds a value to your career. I have seen so many seniors and intimated me that this most of the top MNC companies are working with the Lean Six Sigma certified person. Now, if you look over here, again another company, another institute which offers for you the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt actually. Even this course, which we are going to learn, again this total courses depend on Lean Six Sigma Green Belt actually. Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Whatever the content is over here is mostly revolve around the Lean Six Sigma. You look over here, the overview of it. Similarly, I will cover everything, like how Six Sigma started, then what is the history of Six Sigma, what do you mean by Six Sigma, then the Lean, how the Lean started, what is the history of it, then what do you mean by waste. Then if you look over here in demand, even in define, we will look out some voice of the customer, similar whatever metrics are there. Another keep in mind, I told you in project management itself, even the project management concept of a lot of basic we will add up over here, because always Six Sigma will work on project mode. The Six Sigma will work on project mode. It works on project mode actually. There is a link between Six Sigma and project management. See again the project management basic like charter, Gantt chart, risk analysis, so many things will come. Along with the project management basic, even we will see add up some financial basic over here. Again in measure, you can see so many concepts. Later we will, whatever it is there, later we'll discuss about that. Even your course is completely designed based on the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Even in Wales, so many students have completed the project in the Lean. Lean Six Sigma is too large, too time consuming. So some of the students have completed the, in my guidance, some students have implemented the lean manufacturing in pharmaceutical company like Strides. Then even we tried the lean logistic in Safe Express. Under me, the two students have done, Jessica and what you call Sriram. Under me in work, they have completed the course. I mean, they have implemented the lean in their project. They have implemented the lean in the project actually. Even someone is interested completely whatever I teach over here in lean, completely it is based on you can apply in your project. You can apply in your project. Whatever the lean, but it is audible, no? Do you have issue with any sound? It is audible. It is audible for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what about the screen is visible for you? It's clear for you, pa?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Even you can do the project, the final year project you can do in lean. At least in because if I implement in Six Sigma, we don't have a time for it. Even someone want to try in Lean Six Sigma also, I can help it. There are so many students, right? Have completed the project for so many students. So many students completed the project under me in lean manufacturing. In lean manufacturing, they have done it. Even whatever the content or material have prepared, that can be applied in the project. That can be applied in the project. So many students have completed under me. Even if in the future, in final year project, if you are interested in implementing this lean in your project, I can help you out. When I started with Wales, there are right from there, so many students have completed the project under me. They have done the project in, if you apply in lean, then logistic, there is a difference of in lean logistic. Even students have completed the lean logistic. Even this final year, one of the students completed under me in lean manufacturing. That every year, one of the student under me complete the lean projects, final year project. Even someone is interested, whatever the content over here is, I will teach. Actually, the content complete content in the courses depend on green belt actually. The green belt. First unit we will talk about the lean. Then second unit we will first 2 units we talk about the lean manufacturing, and next 2 units we will talk about the Six Sigma. Finally, there will I will try to merge or create a synergy between the lean and Six Sigma. That will be a 5th unit for you. And these are the certification. Like even if you go in company, if you are recognized as a lean green belt, there are different levels are there. First they will call us yellow belt, where they will teach the fundamentals. Then this green belt talks about more on tools and technique. Later I will when I go for Six Sigma, I will give more description of this. We'll talk about the more description of it. More description of this. What is the lean? What is the Six Sigma? How many belts are there? And this completely course, even this course content is revolve around green belt. Let me start with the lean. This actually before lean manufacturing came. Again, keep in mind, When we talk about the history of the lean manufacturing, it is more or less similar to the total quality management. A lot of contribution came from Japanese. If you go look back the history of the lean manufacturing, actually it was again completely a lot of contribution came from the Japanese. Japanese is the one who has given the lot of contribution to in terms of quality as well as in terms of inventory. Actually, it was started as a JIT, just-in-time manufacturing. Just-in-time manufacturing. Later, I will discuss in lean manufacturing. I will discuss about the just-in-time manufacturing. JIT. It is more or less to reduce the inventory level. Keep in mind, already in operations management, you would have studied about the inventory. Similarly, there are two types of inventory: push versus pull. Then lean manufacturing more emphasize on pull inventory, how we can reduce the inventory level. Again, before getting into lean manufacturing, you have to know the history of it. Who given the more contribution to this? In 1940s, actually, Japanese has nothing with them. Japanese had nothing with them. Japanese had nothing with them in 1940s because of World War II. But in 1950s, they came into their own market. They have started producing their products, and they are selling the products in 1950s. But in 1960s, they went into US market. In 1970s, they are dominating the US, and people are buying the US product instead of Japanese product. This is the history of Japanese, where they came up with the concept of total quality management. Then advancement of total quality management is Six Sigma. In simple terms, if you want to tell what is the Six Sigma is, advancement of total quality management is Six Sigma. Another contribution came by Japanese is JIT. JIT, just-in-time manufacturing. Actually, I already studied in operations management, I think so. If you recollect everything, there is evolution of operations management. In advanced operations management, the lean manufacturing will come into picture. But keep in mind, there are a lot of contribution came from the Japanese. One of the important contribution is in terms of quality. In terms of quality, they given a lot of important contribution to quality. Then later it became a famous advanced quality management, which is called as a total quality management. Another concept simultaneously they have developed for just-in-time inventory, where they want to have a zero inventory. They want to reduce the inventory. They don't want to have an inventory. We will study deeply on inventory in lean manufacturing. When we talk about the Six Sigma, we will deeply study on quality. Actually, the lean is, you can study semester-based course in lean manufacturing. Similarly, you can study another semester-based course for Six Sigma also. Now but in the market, they have meshed together. What's the lean and what's the Six Sigma? First two unit, I will talk about completely on lean manufacturing. In second unit, I will dedicate completely on value stream mapping. I will try to design the value stream mapping. That concept you can apply in your project. I will keep on telling it. Keep on. I have been implementing this project, implementing the lean concepts in your final year project for the past 5 years. At least 1 or 2 students under me, and they have completed the project in lean concept. Even they have implemented in lean manufacturing. Even they have implemented in lean logistic also. Whatever I teach, I will give this template to you. Then you can apply that concept in your project. Whatever I teach in the class, I have scaled down. Actually, I don't want to teach complete lean Six Sigma, but I have scaled down the lean Six Sigma to the project level, in academic project level, up to, based on time constraint. I have this even this course is designed in such a way that I will teach you complete tool. It doesn't mean that, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to neglect some of the tools, but I will complete all the tools. But even some of the unit I have dedicated for your final year project. Second unit, I have designed the value stream mapping. I have scaled down the value stream mapping to the academic level. In 3 months, what you can do? In 3 months of the project, that whether you can implement this lean manufacturing, that I have scaled down. Now, always when you talk about the lean, when you talk about the quality, always the people will remember two countries. One is US, another is Japan. Always there is a stiff competition between US and Japan. US and Japan. Just-in-time manufacturing, actually it was started as a just-in-time manufacturing, but US don't like that concept at all. Even they want to implement that concept in US, but they don't want to implement in the name of Japanese. Always they will tell us Japanese in trouble. They will call us a Japanese in trouble. But later what happened was, there is a book called Machine That Changed the World. If you take about the machine that changed the world, you can see the lean production or lean manufacturing. At first time, it was termed the concept by the US people. Actually, they form as a multi-skill. This book, OMAC, in 1990s, has written the book on Machine That Changed the World, which talk about the history of lean manufacturing. Actually, they have taken all the concept of JIT, just-in-time manufacturing. Sometimes this is called the just-in-time manufacturing. All the concept they have taken the just-in-time manufacturing, but they have shown the world that they have came up with a new concept. No, that is lean. It is not a new concept at all. It is again, it is backed up by total concept which was developed by Japanese, which is called just-in-time manufacturing. All the just-in-time manufacturing concept came into lean manufacturing. Then the US started the term called lean. Before, actually, the contribution was given to most of the Japanese people who came up with a concept called just-in-time manufacturing. Then it was later this term was given as a lean manufacturing. When you talk about the lean, this is the history always. Keep in mind, history of lean is, this is the history of lean. Actually, the history of the lean is totally depend on just-in-time manufacturing, which was just-in-time manufacturing was developed by the Japanese people. One of the important contribution is they want to have a reduction of inventory. It's an important concept. They don't want to have an inventory. If they have an inventory or in the company, the inventory carry a space, then we have to pay the huge amount for inventory. More the inventory, more the space consumption, then more the cost. They want to reduce all the inventory level. We will study deep on it, how we are going to reduce the inventory level. All this lean manufacturing revolve on completely inventory. Again, it will talk about how the inventory along with the flow. When we talk about the Six Sigma, again, Six Sigma will mostly talk about the quality. Now, two big concepts came into one, which is we call it a Lean Six Sigma. Two big concepts came into one concept called Lean Six Sigma. Now, if you talk about the lean, what do you mean by lean? Always keep in mind when we talk about the lean will talk about the wastages. Some of the important concept you have to remember is the lean means wastages. Wastages, it doesn't mean you have to throw it out, but it has a different concept. 7 waste, we call it. 7 waste. Sometimes it is called as a non-value added activity. Sometimes it is called as a non-value added activity. That the philosophy of this production that focus on process optimization through elimination of waste. When we go and talk about the lean manufacturing, first thing the people will talk about is what is the waste? What is the waste? Lean 7 wastes are. You have to remember this. Keep on repeating that, the term waste. Now, actually, the another book is there on lean thinking. Lean thinking. You go and Google it, you will find another book called Lean Thinking. I have summarized the Lean Thinking, Banish the Waste. Again, Omeg, this book, first book which I want to discuss is Mission That Changed the World. The mission that changed the world. This is some of the which talks about the machine that changed the world, which talks about how the lean manufacturing came. But the first term, the lean production came. James Omeg. Actually, this he's a one of the important book is Machine That Changed the World, which talks about how the lean manufacturing came, how the evolution of lean. One of the important books. James P. Omeg, Daniel Jones, and Daniel Roth, which talks about completely on how the lean production came. Toyota system. Actually, sometime the lean started from Toyota. Sometimes they call the Toyota manufacturing, Toyota production system also, TPS. This sometimes they call this as a Toyota production system also. We will talk. Some of the important books are there. One of the important book is Mission That Changed the World, which talks about the complete history of lean production. Even if you go and see, one book is called Toyota Production System. Toyota, you heard about the car. They are the one who started the lean manufacturing. Toyota Production System. Production system. Even a Toyota production system is more or less book is there. These are some of the famous book which was written on lean manufacturing. Which was written on lean manufacturing. Toyota the Way. This Toyota the Way. These are because most of the contribution for lean came from Toyota. You have seen the Toyota Police, the company. The company has given a lot of contribution. This is one of the famous books on lean manufacturing, which talks about how the lean manufacturing started. Actually, lean manufacturing got a lot of contribution came from the Toyota. From Toyota manufacturing. Sometimes this book is called this lean production system is called as a Toyota production system. I told you the Toyota production system. Even this Taiichi Ohno, one of the famous for implementing lean manufacturing. Implementing the lean manufacturing. Taiichi Ohno. Famous for implementing the lean manufacturing. Again, another book, famous book is Toyota production system. Which called about, I told you that it was started with just-in-time man. Started with the just-in-time. Started with just-in-time manufacturing. This is one of the important famous book on lean manufacturing. Toyota production system, Toyota, the lean leadership. Lean leadership. Another important, this book. Lean thinking. Banish the Waste, Lean Thinking. For the famous book on lean manufacturing is Lean Thinking. One of the famous book on lean manufacturing, another book is Lean Thinking. Based on this lean thinking, I have summarized over here. I have summarized based on the lean principle. Complete lean principle was summarized. Whatever it is there in the book, I have summarized this at least. If you want to know about the history of lean production, Then you can study the book called Machine That Changed the World. Then if you want to understand the lean thinking, what is the lean thinking? Completely, the lean principle is based on that book called Lean. There are 5 lean principles are there, which is completely based on the book called Lean Thinking, Banish the Waste. Lean Thinking, Banish the Waste, which was again written by James B. Omek and Daniel Jones. Now, another famous book on lean. When you talk about the lean principle, there are 5 lean principles are there. Later, I will teach, apply this principle in the value stream mapping. As of now, you remember this. Later, I will show you the practical implication of this lean principle in the value stream mapping that can be applied in your project. Keep in mind, my objective to teach these courses, whether some of the students can apply this lean manufacturing or lean logistic in the project, final year project. That is my objective. All the course I have scaled down to the project level. At academic level, how you can apply the lean concept that can be implemented in the project. I will go deeply on that. Even I will provide you the material also that really you can apply in your final year project. That's my objective. Every year, at least 1 or 2 students under me, they complete the lean project. Even if you are, after completing this course, if you feel that I want to do the lean manufacturing in your project, I'm ready to help it. I'm ready to help it. This course is completely designed on Green Belt. Again, I'm repeating, Green Belt certification. Green Belt certification. Then it is completely based on, even I can call some seniors and talk, let you check with the seniors so they can give the importance of this lean in the lean logistic company. What is the importance? Top MNC company like Kuehne+Nagel, I don't know how many, for one of the student called Jessica, who was placed in the Kuehne+Nagel. When he went over there, he told me that one of the customer for them is completely, he's telling that all this lean should be, if you apply the lean manufacturing, then only the order is given to you, and they are implementing completely on lean. I will check with her whether she can give the guest lecture on the lean principle, how she learned the lean concept, but she designed the lean logistic for. Later, I will show you all the projects. Later, I will show you the project of your seniors. In first batch, when I joined in 2016, I think. So under me, one student did the lean manufacturing in pharmaceutical company, which is Strides Session. Another student, I'm not able to remember the company name, where he implemented the lean concept in the documentation. In service industry also we tried it. Then next, even the total quality management, even another concept also is that half of the, actually you have to study the total quality management, then only you can go for, Six Sigma. Even some of the students done the project in total quality management. In total quality management project, implemented the total quality management concept in lean logistics, in logistic company like Safe Express. Then next, in Sriram, again he implemented the whatever the Jessica left. He has implemented. He implemented the lean concept in Safe Express again. Another student last year, this year again, one of the students under me, she has implemented. She has seen how Poke, one of the lean tool, is implemented in manufacturing company. Like this, even if you can implement the lean, this principle, then all this concept tool. Second unit is completely dedicated on value stream mapping, which you can implement in your project. Second unit. Before getting into, I told you that this concept is revolve around the book called Lean Thinking. the book called Lean Thinking. From that, the Lean Thinking talks about this 5 principles, completely 5 principles. First is in lean manufacturing, I told you that when you study, when you tell someone that I have studied the lean manufacturing or lean concepts, first thing they will ask about is what is the waste? What is the waste? What is the waste? That is why later we'll talk about the waste. First you understand the principle first, then I will talk about deeply. When I go for second unit, I will talk about each and every lean principle, how it is practically applied. How it is practically applied in your project, how you can practically apply. With the help of one tool, I will teach you the lean principle concept. As of now, I will cover the theory. I will try my level best to give the practical knowledge on this lean manufacturing. Please, on lean manufacturing. First thing is to specify the value. Always keep in mind, there are two things are there in lean. We call it a waste, which we call it a non-waste. When we talk about the waste, first thing is we have to denote this. Waste means doesn't need it is a scrap. It's not a materialistic waste. We never talk about the materialistic waste. Waste is something which doesn't add value to the product. From the customer perspective, if the customer feels that he no need of this, no need of this process, no need of this features, then we should not add up the additional feature at all. We have to think each and every thing whether we can add the value added to the product from the customer perspective. That's why the product will talk about the waste and value. Talk about the waste and value. That's why if you see all this lean will talk about the waste and value added product. Waste, value added product. Waste and value added product. Then value added product. The waste, no value for the customer. Then again I will differentiate what is the 7 waste. What is the thing that doesn't add value to the product for the customer person? Deeply we will study about that. Then next thing is just like a supply chain. Just like a supply chain, another important concept is there called value stream. Sometimes they call it this is a value stream management also they call it. One book is there on it, completely different. With the help of value stream mapping, how you can create a value stream management. What we do in value stream is we have to identify and remove the wastages. We have to process of identify and removing the wastages is called value stream. Value stream start with all the entity, all the process and activity. When you in company, supplier will feed the raw material. Once it is a feed the raw material, from raw material to finished good. From raw material to finished good, we have to differentiate which is value added, which is non-value added. That's what we do in value stream. In value stream, we will perform that. We will perform from raw material, from the supplier to the product to the customer. Completely all the process within the company. We call as a value stream. One of the important is value stream. We will have to differentiate in the value stream. As of now, you remember the concept. Later, we will go deep on it. First thing is specify the value, which talk about the waste. Then we have to differentiate between which is value added and which is non-value added, which is called as a waste. Non-value added activity or non-value added are called waste. Next is you have to identify the value stream. Next important is value stream. Simple. The way we talk about the process, we have an input, process, and output completely. In supply chain, we have supplier, manufacturer, customer. Similarly, in the company, from raw material to finished good. The raw material is if you are manufacturing any mobile, the raw material is given to you. The component, everything is given to you. Then we have a set of process to convert that into product. Then output the output will come. The output completely depends on the output. Completely we have a end output which we call as a product. All the process you have to identify. Then important is flow. Again, very, very important with the lean manufacturing. If you want to differentiate between the lean and Six Sigma, always the lean will talk about the concept called flow. Because we will, from supplier to customer, from when we get the raw material from the customer within the company till it reaches to the customer. I mean, customer end product. We have set of process. That process have a flow from one process to second, two, from two to three, three to four. We'll have a flow. We will have a complete flow. Then another important concept is inventory. I told you that one of the one of the important waste stages in the lean is inventory. One of the important waste stages in lean is inventory, which we talk about the inventory. If you take about the inventory, see, inventory has differentiated over here. Again, wastage, there are 7 wastages are there, but more emphasis is given over is inventory. Always we have to work in full system. Later we'll talk about, when we talk about the full system, we will talk about the Kanban. Sometimes we call it the Kanban system. That we will study deeply on it, how the Kanban works. What is the difference between the push? Traditional system was push, and the current system is pull. How we can differentiate between the push and pull? Push and pull. Then finally, everything you have to do, once assume that today, or you have implemented the lean after 1 month, there is some implementation, there is some change because of lean manufacturing. It doesn't mean you have to stop at that time. You have to perform daily, you have to perform weekly. That activity should be continuous. Always that should improvement should be. But when we talk about this lean principle, the tool which talks about the lean principle is Kaizen. If you talk about total quality management, the same concept is talked about total quality management is PDCA cycle. But here the Kaizen, the tool Kaizen will talk about each and everything. The wastages, value stream, more on value stream, you will study in value stream mapping. Value stream and value stream flow, you will study completely on value stream mapping. Even in value stream mapping, we'll study about the flow. But one of the important tool is there, which we call the Kanban, which talk about this full system is just-in-time manufacturing. Just-in-time or just-in-time inventory system, they call it. They call this as a just-in-time inventory system. Just-in-time inventory system. Again, important continuous improvement concept. This concept you will study in Kaizen. If you talk about total quality management, we'll study in PDCA cycle. As of now, you remember. Now, first, when I started with the lean, I told you that always you remember that waste. 7 waste. We will study about this on removing the waste, which we talk about completely on waste. Now here, we have learned some another important concept called value stream. Along with the waste, we have talked about the value stream. Then another important is full system. At least you remember these 3. In lean principle, if you want to remember, at least you remember this 3. Now, these are the 7 wastages. These are the 7 wastages we call it. How we can define? Now we are going to define the wastages. Now we are going to define the waste. These are the 7 wastages are there. Scrap and rework. One of the important concepts when you go learn about the defects is, when you manufacture any product, there will be defects. Defects will be in 2 types. Sometimes you will do the rework of defects, then you convert as a good product. But sometimes you keep on do the rework of the product, then you, at the one end you can't convert as a good product at all. That can lead you to scrap. Even you have to, when you manufacture anything, always the concept is we should manufacture. First time we have to manufacture a good product. We have to manufacture a good product without any defects. But practically it is not possible. That's why when we talk about defects, more deep concept of defects is talked about the total quality management and Six Sigma. Six Sigma will talk about more on this concept called defects. You will have so many technical terms for that. But in lean manufacturing, we will talk less on defects, defect rate compared to other 6 wastages. But we will talk about the scrap and rework only. When we go for Six Sigma, in Six Sigma, everything will revolve around these defects. Everything will revolve around defects. Then another is overproduction. One of the important concepts is overproduction. Today, assume that if customer demand is in traditional system, people will manufacture and they will create an inventory. They will manufacture a product and they will make to stock. They will stock the inventory. They will have the inventory. What will happen is when you go to the company, then you will realize it. More the inventory, more the time consumption. More the inventory, more the space consumption, sorry, not time consumption, space consumption. Then today assume that you have to manufacture 100 mobile. The customer wants 100 mobile. But lean tells that don't go beyond the 100. Don't go beyond the 100. Whatever it is there, you have to manufacture in such a way that you should not be faster, you should not be earlier. Earlier than required or faster than required. You should not go any faster or earlier at all. Don't manufacture additional product. More you manufacture additional product, then it can become inventory. Overproduction concept. Even it is, but in traditional system, always people will have overproduction. They will have a buffer stock and safety stock. Then whenever the demands comes down, but even in lean, we will talk about the buffer and safety stock. But in lean, even they want to reduce, they want to remove this buffer and safety stock also. Buffer and safety stock. They don't want to have inventory at all. They want to have an inventory-free ambience. They want to have an inventory-free environment, lean environment they wanted. But next is transportation. Next important concept is transportation. Transportation, you can have different ways. You can have a material transportation from one department to another, which we call as a logistics. When we talk about the transportation, we talk also logistics. But here within the company, how we do the transportation, material handling system will be there. There will be so many material handling system which talks about how the material is transferred. There will be conveyor, there will be AGV, automated gated vehicles. There will be so many material handling systems are there, which will come into picture over here. But always keep in mind the lesser movement should be there within the company. Even in one important concept which lean talks is along with the material flow, it talks about the information flow also. Talk about the information flow, very, very important. Even in supply chain, to talk about the supply chain, along with the material flow, even in supply chain, one of the important flow is information flow, which we talk about the information flow from supplier to, from supplier, then from the within the company to the customer, all the material flow. Then we will talk about the information flow. Another important concept is waiting time. One of the important concepts is waiting time. What is the waiting time? Waiting time of men or waiting time of machine? If you talk about the waiting time, I don't know how far you, someone have studied in operation management. There are called line balancing. There is a concept called line balancing. In line balancing, what will happen is, if you properly don't balance the line, then waiting time will increase. Unnecessary idle time and waiting time will increase. You have to properly balance that. When we talk about the waiting time, we have to reduce the waiting time. One of the concepts which teach you the waiting time is line balance. If you properly not balance the line, then obviously the idle time will increase. There are so many times are there which will contribute into times. Like processing time is there. Processing time, later I will differentiate between that. When you go for value stream mapping, I will explain this time. At least I will discuss some of the times. Another important time is idle time. The worker is waiting. Because Either the worker is waiting because of machine, or they are working in machine, or when whatever be. Idle time is, even then sometimes idle time is created because of maintenance also. Because of maintenance issue also, the idle time will increase because machine is not working over there. Assume that if it is a continuous flow or mass production, then one machine doesn't work means complete total line will come into halt. You can't work at all. Total complete line from product, one line manufacturing a mobile phone. We have a 10 process, then 10, if one process has created the problem, it doesn't work at all, it doesn't work, then all the 10 process will be affected. Because after product process 3, then only the output will come. If process 3 is not giving the output at all, then 4, 5, 6, 7, everything will create idle time. They have to sit over there. There are so many reasons are there. One of the important reason is machine maintenance issue also is there. Another important is motion, movement of people. Here, if you take motion and transportation as some of the link, even there will be unnecessary movement of people because of so many reasons are there. It can be within the workplace. Within the workplace, if you want to analyze, if you want to understand this motion, then better you can understand this motion traditional system where people will do macro analysis, micro analysis, which we call as a within the workstation or outside the workstation or within the premises, which we call that as a movement of people. The traditional system which go deep analysis on motion is method study. Even they call it the motion study also, which is called the method study, which will talk about the movement, macro level, micro level, all the movement is captured over there. All the movement, even within the machine, how many unnecessary motions are there, unnecessary movement of human beings are there, or people like this within the. If you go, this will help you when you have an improper layout. When you have an improper layout, then unnecessary movement will be there. Assume that material handling, material store will be at one end, but input is given at another end. Another basic example, if you want to understand, is the company will have a store which we give the material to the production people. From production to material, completely it is different. It will take so much of time. Similarly, after manufacturing a product, it will go for another warehouse where the finished good they will keep. From output of manufacturing to the input of warehouse, again there will be unnecessary movement. Sometimes there will be unnecessary movement between the process 2 and process 3. Even sometimes the unnecessary movement within the workstation of process 1. Like this, you can differentiate between so many macro level movement, micro level movement. Everything you can differentiate. Another important next concept is inventory. Already told you that no need to produce the excess at all. Whatever it is need to the next customer, we have to produce it. Whatever we need for next customer, we have to produce it. There should not be unnecessary inventory, should not be there at all. Unnecessary of inventory should not be there. Then finally, what you have to do is you have to identify the process which is adding value to it. Finally, you have to find the identify the process also. Very, very important. If the manufacturing a mobile phone is needed a 10 process, it doesn't mean sometimes if you do the analysis that even you can remove the unnecessary process also. If you do the line balancing, then what the people will do is they will convert the process into workstation. They will convert the process into workstation. One of the simple example I will tell you that in traditional system, always the people will have a more inspection. More inspection will be there. Inspection will be very, they will have. But in lean, you can reduce that inspection. In the lean, you can reduce the inspection. Unnecessary inspection, you can reduce it. One of the important, and if you go to the company, then you will realize it. What is the process? What the process doesn't add any value to the product or service. No need to do additional work. No need to do additional work. This additional work creates separate process that has to be removed. Additional work create a separate process means that has to be removed. We have to remove that process. This is called actually processing even inventory. Sometimes you will have unnecessary counting will be there in the company. Separate worker is given for counting. You have to remove unnecessary counting from the company. There are different ways how you can reduce that counting. Sometimes what the people will do it, if you see pharmaceutical company, long time back, a traditional system, they had nearly 3 processes. Assume that they had 3 processes. Now they have merged the 3 processes into one. Machine will do completely one process. All the 3 processes done by one machine. All the 3 processes done by the one machine. Like sometimes 2 processes will be there. They will merge together, design in such a way that the 2 processes will merge into one. In even that can be, you can reduce it. Unnecessary process. You have to when you introduce the process, assume that the mobile phone has nearly 15 processes. You have to identify that whether we can merge this process or we can remove this process, unnecessary process. Like this, there is if you do the motion study or method study, you will clearly identify that unnecessary motion will come. Unnecessary motions will come, which doesn't add any value to it. Doesn't add any value to it. These are the wastages. These are the 7 wastages which we have to talk about deeply on that. Deeply on. You have to study this phase. Whenever you go for lean manufacturing, people will ask, one of the important question is, what is the wastages? What is the wastages? Then you have to study about this 7 waste. First is defects. Even lean talk about less on defects, but doesn't talk more on defects. In Six Sigma, there are so many metrics to define the waste. Always keep in mind the lean. When we talk about the lean, the important is flow. Important is very important is flow. Very important is flow. Very important is flow. Important is flow. Where we identify this flow, flow is on transportation, then waiting time, motion, inventory, processing, always each and every concept talks about the flow. Talks about the flow. In value stream, we will have a transportation of material, we have a movement of people, and idle time will be there, the inventory will be there, process, everything will come in value stream. In overproduction will possible for overproduction, everything comes under the flow. This comes under the flow. Even defects comes under the flow, but give less emphasis on in lean manufacturing. But if you want to, if you study Six Sigma, for defects, we have so many metrics to measure. That is why lean is not a process oriented, but it is completely on flow oriented. They call it. Talks about how to make the smooth flow. Even in just in time, we will talk about the smooth flow. If the flow is breaking, then we will have a workstation. Some of the important tools is, I told you this flow. Later I will go deep on it. The value stream mapping, Kanban, Kaizen, 5S, okay, single minute exchange of die. These are some tools and basic tools which you have to study about that. I told you that Kanban will talk about the full. Then Kaizen will talk about continuous process improvement. Okay, foolproofing method, again it is related to machine. and 5S, where the important basic tool even some of the company will start is 5S. Then another important concept is single unit exchange of die. You will in the first unit I will cover this Kanban, Kaizen, 5S, okay, and single unit exchange of die, but I will dedicate this value stream mapping to understand the lean concept completely. To understand the lean concept completely, I will try to have a value stream mapping. We'll have a value stream mapping. In value stream mapping, you will understand all the lean concept completely. Second unit is completely dedicated on value stream mapping. Second unit is completely dedicated. As of now, you remember this concept. Later, I will provide you the practical implication of